Hi, y'all. Choice here. Thank you so much for joining me again for another session of Choice Spirit. Here, I want to speak a little bit about thoughts. I know. I come with bits and pieces about many different things, having to do with the spiritual aspect and our human experience and all the little pieces that help us to get a little more insight about what's going on here. And really, many of us know, we have an idea, we sense something, but there are many who really don't know. They're completely oblivious, don't have a clue. And so, and so here it is, I'm just speaking, how to use these various laws to help us navigate life. Many of us use our scriptures to help us through these, the roads and pathways, the winds, the twisting the roads, and understanding and understanding who we are. But there are many of us that has lost our way, and so or were given misinformation, which doesn't help us to tap into that inner, to the energy which the kingdom, if you will, the true kingdom, the temple of the Most High. So somehow we've been led astray to believe that the Most High is somewhere outside of our being, if you will. And so therefore we're not really tapping in and communing with that which is within, that says clearly, clearly, in every holy, in every spiritual doctrine. So here I'm just speaking on thoughts. I said all of that just to go back into what I really came on to talk about, which is thoughts. And so our thoughts, we think we know what thoughts are. Even the experts are still trying to figure out what thoughts, this phenomena of thoughts. But what is known is that thoughts come into us and we don't know where these thoughts, we don't always know how these thoughts come about and come into our space. Now, yes, some thoughts are like seeds that are planted along our journey and then creep up again within our thought space. It just comes back into mind by something that we saw, experienced. These lead to thoughts that then keep coming back into our mind, into our space. Okay? So, but let me go back a little bit. Thoughts is a spiritual thing, you know this. Thoughts are not happening within our mind space as we believe it to be. Thoughts are happening outside of us. Every thought that man has ever thought of and didn't think of is in the ether. And it's a part of, it's all within mind. And at any moment, depending on how we are vibing, our vibrational stance, if you will, is what connects or what calls forth and coordinates energy where that thought is. A point within mind where that thought is. But that thought is constantly moving. It's not stationary. It's a wave that goes out. But this wave goes out, so this thought is there. Every thought, everything, it's there. It's within mind, right? And depending on where you are vibing, your vibrational stance, is how you come into contact with the various thoughts that are out there. So think in terms of you actually flying through space or moving through the ether. And only the thoughts that are within alignment to your vibratory frequency can actually cross your path or come into your world, brush you by. It's like a thought that just comes by as you're moving through the ether. The various thoughts fly by, right? And so I know I'm putting it like this. This is the best thing I can do right here. So think of you moving and swimming through ether, and all the thoughts that are the thoughts that are there, the thoughts that are all available, are moving in this ether. And as you navigate and move through, or whatever your soul's purpose is, or however the Most High has you navigating within this ether, all of the thoughts that are possibilities for you come through. And depending on where you are vibing, vibrationally, is what you will attract. Now, just because those thoughts come by you doesn't mean they sit with you, make a place with you, become a part of your reality, or even your existence. What happens is it only does that if you harp on the thought. So if you allow the thought to harp on you, or you harp on the thought, hitch a ride, and you give that thought some of your energy, then you are building and you are growing that thought. You see? So as you give it energy, you're growing it. But there are certain types of thoughts that keeps you from ascending, truly ascending. I mean, unless you get whatever it is that thought is showing you, so that you can heal or move past it, or learn through it, grow through it, evolve through it. So these thoughts are thoughts like, let me run through it briefly because it's not something I want to stay on. So thoughts like anxiety, hatred, envy, jealousy, worry, anxiety, regret, shame, guilt, worry, sorrow, disappointment. These type of thoughts keep you stagnant. But you're not really stagnant, but you're moving in a pathway, if you will, kind of like, that will align you with like nature of thoughts, things that coordinate, like a coordinates, if you will, that connects in a certain point of view, if you will. I know it's kind of like that, but there's a certain point of view where that is where all of that type of stuff is, and things that relate to that, things that come into. Now, I'm not talking about when you have it and you manage to come through them and get over them, grow through them, get the lesson, or whatever life is always showing you and telling you something. And if you find yourself harping on a thought that is related to any of those that I spoke about, what will happen is your life will seem like it's just going downhill. It's like, and the more you do it, the steeper the hill and the faster you're going to roll. Okay? So it makes sense to know about these things. So I bring up thoughts and how it's important to, you're not going to master the thoughts that come into mind. That's not happening. But what you can do is recognize the past that you're where you're engaging your energy, and what you allow your mind to continue to replay. Because when you know that if you allow your mind to keep playing those type of thoughts, you're headed down a road, and you're going to coordinate yourself and align yourself with like nature of things and people and events, environments. So even if you find yourself in that place now, Now you know, okay, how do I begin to flip these thoughts? Because now you know thoughts are directly related, they're directly related to your vibrational energy. What you put out is what you get back. So that means you may have to do some soul searching, go in there and really figure out where you are vibrationally. Are your thoughts predominantly in that area that I mentioned before? Or are they more in a place of love, well-being, thanksgiving, appreciation, gratitude, forgiveness? Remember, I tell you, forgive yourself, and let the overflow help those that are sitting out there don't know. Forgive yourself from expecting something from others that they are not in a position or unable to give. Because you can't control others or make others do. You can. But it takes a lot of energy to do that. And whatever you're trying to make someone else do that is off their soul's purpose will be revisited. You will reap. Yeah, that which you sow. So all those out there that you see out there doing all nature of things to people, you know, they got these thoughts in their mind where they think they can go in and take over the lives of others and do whatever they please. It's okay, because I think there was something in the scripture that says you can't do what the Most High won't allow. So that means that we, so that we don't bump into that so much, so we can liberate ourselves from that type of nature of thoughts. Remember, we will only align with light things when we are thinking along the lines of that nature of thought. So regardless to whether or not you're playing the victim or you the one that are doing, or if you're playing the victim or not. Now I know I'm going to come back and revisit this thing on thoughts, but you know now your thoughts align with other people's thoughts or align with thoughts that are in the same band, frequency band. So whatever you believe someone is doing to you would not be that if your thinking did not, or you did not harp on those thoughts that came floating by in the ether as you're moving. Somehow you selected that thought and you then harped on that thought, and so now you're in alignment with that thought and those activities, which is creating your reality, right? So now you know. Get your thoughts, if you so desire, because you know you might want to swim around with the sharks for a while. And it takes time, because it's not like you're lifted out of that right away, or you change it, like you change the trajectory right away as soon as you shift your focus. No, or your thoughts, or the thoughts that you allow yourself to harp on. It's not like you automatically change the trajectory of your life. No, sometimes it takes a little slowing down. There's a momentum going that has to kind of like still before it can head off in the direction that you choose. But in the same time, there are agreements and there are certain things going on, which I'll have to revisit in another video, because I know I scattered this a little bit trying to fit everything in. But the main thing is your thoughts. Your thoughts. Okay? What are you thinking about? What are you feeling about? What are you believing? Okay? Whatever that is has to align with those that are providing you an opportunity to have the experience. Now, it doesn't mean that you're always thinking of this, but if you are around people or that are constantly thinking about this, you are in the energy field of this. And sometimes you can't help who you are around. So you have to do the internal work and the mental work for yourself. What does that mean? Being still so that you can see what goes in, what is happening with your thought process. That means being still. I'll say meditate. I say meditate because people are familiar with meditation and all of that. But you simply just need to sit still. Be still. Observe your thoughts. Based on what people are saying around you, what are they saying? And what are they doing? What are their actions? Now, there's some things that, like I said, there are folks that know this. If they can slip information into you, and we'll get on that, the subconscious mind space, that sacred space, they can get stuff in there. You will live by that without realizing you're living by that. So, back on thoughts. Think you're moving through ether. Only the thoughts that will flow through past you and actually bump against you will be those that you are in alignment with. Otherwise, those thoughts, it may fly by, but it's not anything that you will acknowledge. It's not anything you will harp on. It's not anything your mind will keep going to, unless you're in an environment where that energy is strong. Where the collective mind, you got the collective where the majority of the people are. But I'm going to let you go after this. I'm just going to say, just know it takes 1%. 1% of the population to change their point of view. To begin thinking on a higher vibe, in a higher vibrational place. Love, gratitude, appreciation, joy, happiness, love, well-being, perfect health, and on and on and on and on. Choice here. Thank you so much for joining me again for another session of Choice Spirit. Much love. Namaste.